This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Friday night hoops sees Cairns in the far north of Queensland hosting Melbourne United. Both teams, I mean, the Snakes all year, they've been so good on the road, and now it's time for them to get good at home. Melbourne, they've had some personnel changes and we've seen an improvement from them. So I'm taking the home team. The road teams have been winning everything. I'm taking the Snakes at home to win between 1 and 10. I think Melbourne can keep it close. This will be a good game of NBL action on a Friday night. If you're having a bet on the game, please gamble responsibly.
You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
It's a fine line between pleasure and pain in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Saturday, the Cairns Taipans travel to Sydney, push them all the way till the very end. Their big stars were playing some big minutes, and it went right the way down to the wire. But the Kings just have a happy knack of winning on their home floor. Meanwhile, for Melbourne United, who had been in the news for all of the wrong reasons, they went to Illawarra and were pushed into double overtime more than once. It looked as though the game was going to get away from United, but they found a way, led by Xavier Rattan-Mays, to get the job done. It wasn't pretty, but it was the win that they definitely needed. Great to have your company for Friday night hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The Cairns Taipans still searching for their first win at home this season. When they go on the road, they're 4-1. At home, strangely, 0-2 to start this season, and they take on Melbourne United, a team who are coming off 2 wins in a row, and their win on Monday against Perth is their biggest of the season. But the question with the men in black, are they playing the sort of basketball that we come to expect for a team of this nature? Hello and welcome to the Cairns Convention Centre. Jack Heverin alongside Batman and Robin, I should say. Andrew Gaze and Leonard Copeland. This is a fascinating game, you two. Good evening.
It certainly is, and it's one where Melbourne United, they'd be feeling pretty good about themselves after a couple of wins last weekend, and yes, they've had some issues, a lot of speculation about them, but this Cairns team, surprisingly, after all the great basketball they've been playing, a lot of close games, unable to perform on their home deck. So it's a big game for the Taipans.
There is Adam Ford, we saw before, the hand, and then Dean Vickerman, the coach of Melbourne United. 4 wins, 4 losses. They sit 6th on the table right now. Copes, good evening to you. DJ Ho really starting to catch the eye of you and so many here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
He is, and I love the way he shoots the ball, averaging 18 points a game, 5 rebounds. I think last week he had 7 threes in one game. Only player to do that this year. And he stretches the floor, but he's a willing passer. He's unselfish. He plays good basketball, rebounds the ball well, and he looks like a leader, and they look like they like it to play with, like playing with him.
And does he suit the way that Cairns want to play?
Oh, most certainly, and you know what? He would suit a lot of teams because of the way he plays. Good size, beautiful stroke, and doesn't have that explosive power, but you can see very controlled, high basketball IQ. I like what he's brought to the Taipans.
Last 2 games for the Taipans. Lost by 4 against New Zealand and 3 on Saturday against Sydney. We go back to the final play of the game. How many times do you think Adam Ford has thought about this one this week?
Well, he would have thought about this a lot, but he would have thought about a lot of plays throughout the course of the game. When you lose at the buzzer, it's those little bit actions that happen that really causes you some sleepless nights. But on the actual night, he would have replayed that a bazillion times, thinking of what, if only we had been able to close out a little tighter.
Xavier Rattan-Mays has had an outstanding season, 25-10 against Perth on Monday. Copes, he is the leading scorer in this team, and to be honest, he's about the only one scoring for this team.
He is. He's the most consistent the whole year now. In the beginning, they thought maybe he's holding the ball too much or he's not passing enough, he's not getting guys involved. But he's been very consistent on the offensive end, and if they didn't have him, they wouldn't have had those 4 wins. So I like what he brings to the table. Shea Healy's coming in now, so maybe perhaps that'll get him and Goulding going.
We spoke about Xavier Rattan-Mays and his ability to score. Well, we normally associate that with Chris Goulding, one of the competition's leading scorers year in, year out. Here are his numbers for the season, but if you put those numbers against some of his previous numbers that we've seen here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, it's just not stacking up for him. Take a look here. Points per game this season are down, the lowest since 2011. He's still seeing the ball. His average field goal percentage is low as well. 2007 was the last time that he shot the ball as poorly as what he is this year. And the numbers are up as far as minutes on the floor. So he's getting his opportunities, but not making the most of them. Let's get courtside for the first time tonight. Former Australian captain Jenna O'Hea started the day in Tasmania and has ended up at the top of Australia at far north Queensland. Jenna, good evening.
Good evening and thank you. It is Friday night and the Snake Pit is the place to be in Cairns. The crowd is really pumping here and they are desperate for a home win. But the Taipans themselves, they're taking the pressure off and just want to get back to playing Taipans basketball. And speaking to Coach Forty pre-game, he said all it takes is to score more points than the opposition. Sounds pretty easy, right? On the other hand, United, they're loving being away from home. They're relaxed, they're ready to go. From night to night, who knows what the NBL is going to dish up, so I am excited for this game tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to this one, Jenna. Great to have you with us. Champion starting five for the Cairns Taipans. They are down on soldiers. No Tajir McCall, no Sam Wardenberg, who's out with a foot injury. Mirko Jeric not playing, and Jonah Antonio is sick. He was a game day decision, and the champion starting five for Melbourne United. Good opportunity again for David Aquera to get some starters minutes tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been good. He's been averaging about 16 minutes a game, 6 points and almost 4 boards, so he gets an opportunity as well. And Rajon Tucker, again, not featuring in the starting lineup.
Our officials tonight, Chris Reed, Daniel Troy, and Daryl Millard. Copes, what's your thoughts on Rajon Tucker coming off the bench?
Well, look, I think he's had a lot of pressure on him. He put pressure on himself early in the season anyway. But he plays hard, man. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe he's not big enough, maybe he's not the right fit, but he plays hard, he's continuing to get better. And if they're starting to win games, then look, I think you got to go with him.
Golding, first possession short, helped in by Humphries.
And this could be a huge game for Humphries. He's got a big size advantage, and it's hard to see. I know Keanu Pinder's going to have the majority of the rolling you would expect, but I like the matchup with Humphries.
These two teams played in round 4 at John Cain Arena. Cairns won that one 81-77 off the back of a 22-0 run in the middle part of that game. But they didn't have that man on the floor last time, Shea Illy. Short on his first attempt, and he's returned to the team on Monday, first game of the season.
Well, there you see the problem at the other end.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Pinder, he can really test and will test Humphries, but Humphries runs the floor well. There's Aquera with a nice little putback, but down here, and I like that. If I'm the Cairns Taipans, I'm going to put Humphries in many of those situations as he possibly can, and he has improved on that area. Certainly a good rim protector.
He can get into foul trouble, though, and that's where I think Pinder outweighs Humphries.
They're pushing the ball, Melbourne. They did that with great success on Monday. They got up the floor quickly. They played at a higher intensity, higher pace game, and it seemed to suit them. Aquera with his feet set. It's off target. Bull Qual started the season slowly, but he's beginning to get his game going. He misses a layup.
Just something about this court for Cairns, they can't buy a basket. They're shooting 39, I think 39% from the field, which is not going to get it done if you're playing against Melbourne United.
Pinder looks up, surveys the floor, kicks it to the corner. There's Bull Qual.
Finally, they get one to go, and that's been a feature of the Cairns Taipans. Their willingness to push the ball as well, get deep, and the kick-out leaves a wide-open Bull, who we know what he can do from the three-point line.
33% for the season. Season certainly didn't start with that sort of clip, but he's working his way up to a shooting percentage that we've come to expect from last year's Rookie of the Year. Hogue tees off.
You mentioned that field goal percentage, and then we see just trying to fight over the screen. We take a look at the aim replay here, just the penetration. And there's Humphries doing a good job of keeping Keanu Pinder in front. There's some genuine fan help that we're seeing.
Did he pay for that seat?
Well,
I was waiting on the food to get delivered, the way he was sitting there.
And there's that kick out, but surprisingly, that only 24% from the three-point line in their 2 games on this floor for the Cairns Taipans, and that's not normally the case when you're playing at home. Gee, that's a tough shot.
That's a terrible shot.
You see Rajon Tucker.
Well, I think the shot clock might have been an issue, but still, it's a tough shot. My goodness, that missed by a mile.
I think it missed, Jack.
Oh, it missed. Pinned his pass. Knocked away from Deng. Golding puts the ball on the floor and explores. He can't finish off. It's been a ropey old start to this game.
Please.
Well, it certainly has, and some good looks at both ends of the floor, but in particular for Melbourne United. Now, Isaac Humphries has had 2 bunnies around the basket where he's missed. Chris Golding has had a couple outside of that 3 that he took that you'd normally expect him to connect on. So maybe a little disappointed as Humphries takes a spell. A little disappointed in their start as well.
See Tucker into the game. That was for Shea Ely, who played the first 2.5 minutes and came out. So perhaps his minutes will still be carefully monitored. He's take from Majuk Deng.
And that's what he does. I mean, he's been coming off the bench for them lately, but the fact that he's in their starting lineup now, he's got to be aggressive offensively. And once he gets going, he can get hot.
Golding, speaking of getting hot, that's the sort of room that he needs.
Absolutely, that's a much better shot.
Well, he's in a frame of mind because when you've gone 0 for 3, sometimes you might want to just work your way back into it, get something a little easier. But that one there, now I know he's wide open, but no hesitation at all from Chris Golding.
Pinder takes it at Barlow and 1.
Well, it's a good move out on the wing, and whether it's Humphries or Barlow,
They're going to struggle to guard
something
that.
that's going to be a handful. And that's where you got to also perhaps know the scout a little bit, perhaps give a little bit more space, almost test him, almost dare him to shoot a 3 and really play the penetration.
Number 1 rebounder here in the NBL, 9.9 a game. Also the number 1 offensive rebound. There's another one.
Off a free throw too.
Dean Bickerman would not be happy about that.
Well, there's certain little things that coaches really can lose their mind over, and offensive rebounds off free throws is one of them.
And if anybody knows about losing their mind, let me tell you, this guy sitting next to me, he knows.
Well, it's simple. Don't box out and make sure you get it off the free throw.
What was your number 1 pet hate as a coach?
Oh, that was one of the missed free throws I was never overly excited about. Oh, dear. Newley there tried to find Barlow. That's one that normally with Brad Newley, just that close to the basket,
he's scoring.
You normally expect him to go up and look for his own play.
And that's probably why Barlow was not thinking that ball was coming at him. Brad's very good at getting to that basket.
Ben Ayer checks in for his first minutes. First season as a fully contracted player here in the Hungry Jacks NBL with the Cairns Taipans. And Pinder against the shot clock. Doesn't get it to stick. Cairns 3 of 10 from the field. Melbourne 3 of 11. That foul's called on Bukwal.
Tucker a little out of control. He never knew that Bukwal was there, and just a little out of position. If he's in that right spot, Tucker was just getting his head up and was running regardless, and perhaps a little bit of execution could have caused the turnover or offensive foul.
Brad Newley used a bit of a different role on Monday in their win over the Wildcats. Played as a 4-man, copes off the bench with the instruction, just run and get downhill.
And that's what he does. I mean, Brad Newley can get that ball off the rebound and take it coast to coast. He's still very good at scoring the basket that way.
Hands foul.
Unfortunately for Brad Newley, the free ball has completely eluded him this season. He's 3 of 15, or 2 of 15, I should say, from outside. And Dean Vickerman It was a fairly strong suggestion from Rajon Tucker that they should challenge this foul, and they will.
Wow. Early to use it, even if you're 90% confident, because it, you would think of later stages of the game, close games, how many times have we been in a game and think, gee, if only had there. But if they feel like they're going to get the win, then why not?
It's an interesting time to take it, isn't it? It was a bit of a kind of inconsequential foul. It was Tucker's first.
I'm saving mine until the fourth quarter. I don't care.
Well, unless you're absolutely, categorically, unquestionably sure.
And most players are, even though they're wrong.
Let's have a look. He's probably got a good argument, but I think he just actually hit him in the chest.
Oh,
no, that's a foul. That's a foul. That is going to be grossly unsuccessful.
This is where you can't trust him.
Here's Chris Reed.
Successful to ball on the floor on what, 59. Restart the game with orange ball.
How could you be so confident?
Most players are, Drewy. Players think they don't foul, they don't touch.
Gee. And
interesting use of the coach's challenge.
Early. On the road, I'm saving mine. At the end of the year, I'd have 10 or 12 sitting in my back pocket, pal.
You can't bank them, coach.
I don't care.
They're like sick days. When you leave, you don't take them with you. You got to use them while they're there.
Hey, bro. No, sir. I don't trust I'm not going to trust my own players. You fouled him. I saw it.
Adam Ford's pondering what's going on there. 7 apiece. Midway through the opening quarter.
This is a small lineup, and you're getting the basket. But you do see the advantage they have when you've got Barlow and Newley together. They switch everything, and they're quick enough to get to the rotations and close out. Yeah, there might be some question marks about how they kick people in front, but the way they hard show and get back, and the way in which their weak side, whoever's on the weak side of those two, can catch the roller, it's much of a muchness when you're guarding them. So you're easily to put in place your set rules and what you're going to do in those circumstances. And outside of the end bit, they did it quite well.
Free throws to come for Ben Air. Let's get courtside to Jeddah O'Hay.
Yeah, I was just in that timeout with Dean Vickerman, and as much as Ben Air can attack offensively, Melbourne United definitely want to post him up down the defensive end and attack his lack of height down this end. So definitely want to pound it inside against him.
Poor little Benny. Thanks, Jenna.
Just picking on Benny. That's a smart move, though. You clear it out, swing that ball around, and take him mouse in the house. Take him to the box.
He's guarding Ratan Mays this trip down the floor. Golding, little mid-range is nice.
Gee, he's uber aggressive tonight, isn't he? We've seen him, this frame of mind, missed his first 3, made his last 2 of 5 now from the field.
And Cairns are getting good shots. It's just not knocking them down.
Yeah, with the job of trying to guard Golding. Humphrey's got the seal, and Deng blocked that shot.
Well,
officials say that it's goaltending.
Here we go again. Here we go. Coach's challenge. Every player.
Well, coach, it did look like it was on the way up. Here it is. I think they'd have a good player. They would have had a good...
Ooh. Keanu Pinder, aggressive at the other end. Took it at Isaac Humphries, and a bit of feeling in this game early on.
Let's go.
Looks like you got a lot of ball.
Line up, let's go.
But guess what? They don't have the coach's challenge.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Nothing goings on there, but...
I understand. You see, yeah, you want it to be fair. I get it.
73% free throw shooter, Keanu Pinder.
Early off the free throw.
Went early, Keanu.
True to form there. He went early. Go back to round 4 when they played. Keanu Pinder had 26 and 10. Career high numbers for him. He absolutely dominated Melbourne. So I guess, Copes, you can understand why Adam Ford has wanted to go back to Pinder early. It worked for them a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely. Look, just not week 4. He's been playing like that the whole year. I mean, there was a question asked if he was the best five-man in the league. Well, not really a five-man, but he gets the job done. You know, he plays multiple positions. He's athletic, he rebounds the ball well, and he's playing a lot smarter than he ever played, so.
It really looks like they've refined his role, and he's so comfortable with it. Great at the pick and roll, and when he's isolated, which we've seen here tonight, he can put it to the deck and get to the rim. Really eradicated all those blood rushes where you saw him taking wild three-point shots or wild possessions. He's really eradicated a lot of that.
But do you think a lot of that has to do with the coach and the plays and positions he was put in? I mean,
well, the system certainly helps.
Yeah, of course.
Shannon Scott, you've seen a lot of him so far. Deng on the wing, glides to the basket.
That was all just a little too easy, wasn't it? They do that, run their five-out action. You see the floors really spread, and they open up those driving lanes, and they're making the most of it, putting it to the deck and getting to the rim.
Ratan Mays with his first bucket of the game. Melbourne lead it by 3. First make for him, it has 5 rebounds. 6 rebounds, in fact, in the opening quarter. Xavier Ratan Mays. A Pinder. Trying to find Scott on the way through. Ratan Mays whistled for the foul, and that'll be free throws for the Taipans. Melbourne over the limit.
There's been a lot of... We might get a look at this one as well, but didn't really roll a lot in that. Just cutting the basket and a kick-out pass.
Absolutely, can't reread it.
Talking about Scott, Scott's been a very solid player for them coming off the bench. You know, he keeps them focused. He runs the ship, you know what I mean? And yeah, I love McCall, but McCall was a little bit more erratic than this guy.
I think ultimately they're going to need McCall. They're going to need some depth, and here he is on your screen, and he's a lot of time on the sideline. He didn't have the greatest start to the season, but when you look at their overall team they're putting together, I think that he needs to have an impact for this team to be a playoff contender.
Do you think he's a true point guard, though, Drew?
Not stereotypically, but these days, positionless basketball, it's the way the game is. And you talk about starting and not starting. Look at someone like Shannon Scott. Almost 32 minutes a game. They try and find their rotations and combinations that, whether it's position, starting, not starting, whatever it may be, they ultimately playing starter minutes, some of those players in the league that don't necessarily start.
Shea Ili back on the floor. Barlow lays off to Lockie Barker, who doesn't need much of an invitation to let one fly. Long rebound falls to Ben Air. Head down to the basket. Scores.
Great move.
Taipans back in front. Less than 2 minutes to play in this opening quarter at the Cairns Convention Centre. 4th versus 6th on the ladder. Every win for Cairns has come away from their home venue.
When you look at Melbourne United's lineup out there, not a lot of faces, familiar faces. Barlow, Shea Ili, yeah.
Block over the back by Quera. And that will be free throws now for Melbourne, with Cairns over the limit. Two fouls for Ben Air. The only concern for the Taipans. For Melbourne, Dave Barlow and Isaac Humphries both with 2.
Such little, when you look at these games, and in particular Cairns, I think Cairns will be feeling really comfortable with the pace of the game and the score that they're having. I know that they're a higher scoring team than we've historically seen over the last few years with the Cairns Taipans, but up against a team that wants to run. We've seen Melbourne United, when they're at their best, they're flying that thing down the floor. And the Cairns Taipans just trying to pick their timing. Yeah, they want to get out and run, but they also just got to be a little bit more selective with the group that they have, and particularly with some of their personnel that are out. I think they'd be happy with this first quarter. All tied up, minute to go. Low-scoring affair.
Juk Deng found the cutter. Mayen met at the summit. Nice challenge from Malawat. That ball nearly turned over.
Get on it.
$15 apiece.
All right, we're in now.
Some similarities to their round 4 game in terms of the evenness early on. A little more high scoring than this.
Yeah, they both got on same uniforms. That's probably the only
I'm trying to be glass half full.
I know.
Don't you be Nelly negative.
No, sir.
Right here.
One thing for sure is Steve Bigman's prepared to get his guys in and out. He's had a whole bunch of different combinations on the floor in this first quarter.
That's going up.
Qual chases after it, can't keep it in.
I don't know why they seem like such a different team on the road. Cairns Taipans. Maybe they have that mentality, it's them against the world, because
it's strange. They're 2 scores at home, Cope, 76 and 64 score.
That's not going to beat a lot of teams.
It's a team that's averaging 85 across the season. Last play of the first quarter. Golding trying to find a way through, couldn't. Great D from Pinder from halfway. Doesn't get it to go. Scores level at quarter time at the Cairns Convention Centre. You're watching the Hungry Jacks NBL. Quarter time at the Cairns Convention Centre. A low-scoring first quarter, no question about that. 15 apiece between the Taipans and United. The 15 they put on the board is their lowest first quarter score of the season. It ties with the last time they played United in round 4. And it also ties when they played Tasmania. The good news for Taipans fans, they won both of those games. So slow start resulted in 2 wins.
Yeah, like I said, I think Cairns would be pretty happy with that. The foul situation A lot of foul. Had 11 for 6 to 5, the foul count in that quarter, and neither team really getting it going. As far as their field goal percentage is only 29% for the Taipans. It's hard to win unless, of course, the opposition shoots just as poorly, and they're not doing much better. 31% for Melbourne United.
2 of 8 from outside Melbourne, 1 of 7 from outside Cairns. Matt Mahan playing game number 3 tonight, staying out there to start the second quarter. Qual tees it up, that's long. Pinder crashes the O glass and crashes over Shea Ely as well. Jeez. Scott comes up with it, he lost the ball. And Golding lays it up. Well, I think that first play pretty much sums up what we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
Well, it does, and it looked like it was a pretty physical play. And after we saw some sort of softer ones called in the first quarter, and then the second, the umpire, the officials thought, oh, well, maybe we need to let him play a little bit more.
Let's get courtside to Jenna O'Hay.
Yeah, they do want him to play a little bit more. Shea Ely just got hit with a flop warning on that play. I was just in the Cairns Taipans quarter time, and Forty really wants the Taipans to really drag out those hard hedges that United are doing, move the ball quickly, cut and dunk it. He wants no more soft finishes because the refs are not calling a lot, so he wants them to finish it strong.
Both teams really trying to put some heat on the rim, particularly in transition, which you'd expect. And
one thing he did say was, get that ball out of your hand. I think the ball's sticking a lot in these guys' hands.
Shannon Scott gets that to drop.
Because Melbourne switch on every pick and roll, you can swing that ball.
Well, you know what? They're actually hard hedging quite a bit there, Coach. They're coming out and they're showing, and that's what I think Jenna was referring to, is the way in which they try and expose that extra pass, the high-low action to try and penalise them for that. But with this small lineup that Melbourne United go to, that their recovery after they've hedged out has been pretty good. They got some good speed out there, a bit more mobility, and they go back to this lineup where Brad Newley plays more as the 4, along with Isaac Humphries.
That's 3 fouls on Barlow and 2 on Humphries, so Cairns can move that ball around and get these guys off their position, get them into foul trouble.
Newley, pass intercepted. Shannon Scott saw what was coming and had Bull Qual for the jam.
Great running.
Strong finish.
Yeah, really strong finish. Bull Qual, he stayed with the play. Wasn't sure he was going to get it, but still put in that effort to give himself an opportunity. He went his way, and very nice tuck finish at the end.
Deng with a job of trying to stop the big man Isaac Humphries, and muscles in and finishes.
It's just too easy.
Well, that's going to be on a lot, and like you said in that first quarter, Isaac missed a couple you'd normally expect to make, and sometimes when you see that, you go away from it. Keep going there, and up to 3 of 6, 3 of 5 for Humphries, excuse me.
Pinder can't get the same result at the other end. 2019 at the Cairns Convention Centre. Second game of round 6. Tucker took it to the rim and Hogue sent him packing. Shannon Scott cuts through.
I reckon the first team to score 2 baskets in a row is going to win this one.
Well, they're a combined 3 of 17 from the 3-point line. So both teams found the going tough from beyond the arc.
Tucker almost travelled, might have got away with that one. Newley with a shot clock at 3. Tucker's going to have to shoot. That's deep. Scott. Little lob for Pinder. That's knocked out of play. Let's take a look at the AMI replay. Bull Qual rewarded for running the floor.
And good find, too.
It's a 1-point lead of the Taipans. Timeout called Jenna O'Hay, the three-time WNBL champion, caught up with Chris Goulding pre-game tonight.
2-game win streak, undefeated on the road. You must be feeling pretty confident going into tonight's game.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. We like it on the road at the moment. This is a big challenge for us, though. Young team playing some great basketball and a really tough team to come up against. So a good opportunity for us to see where we actually are.
And a hectic start to the season, lots of travel. How are you feeling individually?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to get up here in this hot weather. Makes the body feel a little bit better. But it's all part of it, you know. We're condensing our schedule a little bit more this year, back to sort of pre-COVID levels. So I think it's what the players want, to be playing more and training less. So yeah, we're going all right. And
you're averaging career high minutes from since about 2012, 2013. How's that body going?
Yeah, it's good at the moment. But you know, even the last couple of games has started to come down a little bit as we see contributions from everyone and as we start to play the style of basketball that we want to play. So I don't want to be out there for 35, 36 minutes a game. I want to get some of these young guys in playing good basketball, and hopefully we see that.
Well, we love seeing you out there, and good luck tonight.
Thanks, Jenna.
So from Chris Goulding, that is playing, to Mirko Jeric, who's unfortunately not out there tonight for the Cairns Taipans. Mirko, such a shame to not have you there. You were such a big factor in the win in round 4. As a team, do you take that confidence into tonight, knowing you've beaten them once already?
Yeah, 100% it helps, but, you know, it's a new game. Every game's different. They've always been on a 2-game winning streak, and we've lost our last 2. Obviously, with a couple of guys out. But it doesn't matter. I mean, we're confident we can win any game.
And Mirko, you had Chris Goulding mumbling to himself during the game when you played him in Melbourne. What advice you've been giving your teammates to try and contain him?
Just don't tap his bum. That's all I've got
to say. We weren't sure whether we could say anything, but geez, we're glad that you did.
Anytime, man, anytime.
Hey, just on tonight, Mirko, you're a few soldiers down. You're not there, Tajib's not there, Sam's there, Jonah's not there. There's some big minutes that are going to have to be played tonight.
Yeah, but, you know, that's what's exciting about this group, this next man up. You know, Benny's getting a chance out of that. JD's coming in now, who's an absolute workhorse, so watch him get about 15 offensive rebounds in 2 minutes, I reckon.
How long before you're back?
I'm hoping by the 28th of November, that's the schedule, but, you know, hopefully I can come back quicker. But, you know, it's a long season. I just want to get healthy, and I'm glad we have this 2-week break from games, but, you know, it's frustrating, but, I'll be ready when I come back.
All the best. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. See you guys.
That's a funny man. Don't tap him on the bum, bro.
It's funny, because we kind of all looked at each other and went, you ask him, no, you ask him, and in the end we didn't need to.
No, we gave him every opportunity. And
he took advantage, didn't he?
There is Bennett, one of those players that Mirko Jeric spoke about. More minutes, more opportunities, making them count.
And I reckon the first team, they can get consistent from the outside, because both teams are shooting pretty poorly from the outside. If you knock down a couple in a row, get this crowd behind them.
Xavier Rattan-May's only one made field goal in the game so far. And Quera levels Bullquall. And that will be an offensive foul.
Sub. Hey, can we just tell your subs to wait until we've called them in?
Perhaps it wasn't as bad as first thought.
It's hard. That is
mayonnaise on. He put a little mayonnaise on that.
A little. I think he had a whole bunch of condiments splashed all over that. He's just coming into that screen, and it is so hard for the officials in those circumstances when you see there's maybe a little bit of forward movement. And I know sometimes we get critical of the officials, but it is difficult when you've got someone that can exaggerate contact well.
Hogue. Short.
Well short.
Well short, but Air wins it back. Taipans will get another look at things here. Josh Davey checks in, one of the development players for the Taipans this season. There he is, number 7.
Yeah.
His debut season. Very limited minutes so far. We'll get a good look at him tonight.
That's right, played with the in the NBL1 competition with the Lakeside Lightning.
Hogan is out off the inbound. Another possession for the Taipans.
Hogan's finding it hard to get going. 0 for 5 so far from the field. I reckon he needs to get to that free throw line and see that ball go in the hole, get himself going, because they're going to need him.
Paul Quall shows everyone how it's done. He's got 7 points. Ben Eyre is the leading scorer in the game. He's got 8, which is a new season high for him.
7, push. Orange 7.
Well, that's what he's going to need to do down low. And
Orange 7.
sometimes it's better to do your work early. Try and get in front. Don't let Isaac Humphries catch it that low. Davey down low. Now, what he does do well, and has done well at that NBL1 level, he rebounds the ball. He's really good, particularly on the offensive end. And this is a huge step up for what he's normally, the level he's playing at.
Great pass from Isaac to Aquera.
Melbourne get it back to 4. Golding wrestles control free and walks into the 3. In fact, gave it up. Saw that Humphries had the size advantage. The big man does the rest.
Scott down low, he had Humphries, he got caught behind. He thought the shot was going up. There you see it, he thought the shot was going up, got well behind. And that's where your defensive transition. Now, Scott's in the right spot, but he, as far as getting back and trying to protect the rim, the trailer takes his man, but he's got to front it. You've got to front that. You play behind and you've got that size advantage. Humphries is just going to take advantage of him. Like I said from the start, this is a game where I think Humphries can really dominate. It's 8 points, 4 of 6 from the field, and only has the 3 rebounds, but we've seen the last couple of minutes the presence he can have.
And he's on the line to shoot free throws out of the timeout. Let's get courtside to Jenna O'Hay.
Yes, hi, I'm here with Majukden's fiance, Nairi. How are you tonight?
I'm good, how are you guys?
Very well. Can you speak about Cairns being your new home?
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's like a tropical place. Every day's on holiday. So, but yeah, it's beautiful. I love it here.
And can you speak about the Cairns community and how much they get around this basketball team?
Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Like, they are diehard Cairns people everywhere you go. But yeah, no, they're big fans, big supporters.
And speak about your beautiful family. This little one here wants to get on the microphone.
Yes, this is Majuk Jr. Oh. Sorry.
He's a bit hungry, clearly. And can you speak a little bit about Majuk and Coach Fordy's relationship?
I don't really know it too well. I don't get to be around them too much, but so far it's pretty good. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you for your time tonight.
They've built a lovely little community, haven't they, the Cairns Taipans and the team and the extended family that comes with that as well. And there's just a snapshot with Jenna.
The whole city is orange. Let me tell you, every store you go in, every restaurant, every nightclub, just ask Daisy about the nightclubs, all orange everywhere.
Love them. Great place to get out and boogie.
And boogie.
Obviously, he's not been to the nightclub.
Spoken like a man who hasn't been to a nightclub very often. Two-point lead to the Taipans. Retan Mace trying to get himself involved. Swatted out of play by Deng.
That's only shot clock violation as well.
But they've gone to the big fella down low for the last 2 times in a row. He scored twice. Why not swing that ball around, let him go from box to box and throw it inside, just to see what he can do.
And at least give him some touches to cause the defense to collapse. In fact, they're only going to be 0.2 of a second, so really just have to tap it.
And Cairns learnt this last week that's enough. 0.2 off the inbound.
0.2 might be stretching it. And this would be like just trying to throw it at the rim somewhere there, and like I said, almost just get a hand on a quick tap of it and hope for the best.
0.2. We're waiting for it to get back there. Okay?
Last night, Illawarra went down to Adelaide, 80-96. Robert Franks had a night for the 36ers, and Perth came up short again against the Jack Jumpers. The clock beats Melbourne.
No, he jumped over his back. No, I have independence. So it's going to be over here.
Tomorrow night, Tasmania up against Brisbane first, and then Adelaide and Perth will do battle at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Craig Randall, a game time decision again tomorrow night for the 36ers.
Tasmania, speaking of Tasmania, haven't they played great basketball this year?
Here we go.
Continuing on from what they did last year, the defense that they played is just like none other.
Their ball movement, their composure, whenever they get down, they never see a sign of panic or going away from their systems. Extremely well coached. Great to watch them play. Fun team to watch.
That's more like it from Hogue.
Great play running for him, run him off a couple of screens. Get him a good look, because they're going to need him if they think they're going to beat Melbourne United. They're going to need him firing.
First make of the night. Good luck, Josh Davey.
There's that play again, and then Davey just gets caught behind.
Well, Drew, like you said, there's probably nobody can guard him.
Well, they did. Trying half front, full front even. Rely on some help from the weak side, a little bit more ball pressure.
See at the scorers table, Keanu Pinder getting set to check back in. Desperately need him out there. Back-to-back trebles from Hogue.
Wow. You know where teams, I think teams sort of mess up at is, Isaac's killing me on the offensive end, but he's got 2 fouls. Go at him. Try to get him in foul trouble to get him out of the game.
Tom Mace. Tough, mate.
Teams don't think that way. I mean,
they couldn't throw it in the ocean for most of this game. The last few possessions,
both ways.
Here we see that nice little pin down action, and then bringing off and just steps into it. Never looks rushed, does he? Because he's got that size. He always feels comfortable.
Right here.
Hogue, Scott, Deng, Pinder and Qual on the floor for Cairns. Humphreys, Rattan, Mays, Aquera, Golding and Tucker for Melbourne. Qual hemmed in, threw it on the feet of Golding, but he was awake to it. It's not his first rodeo. Aquera scores!
Yeah, real heads-up play. KG veteran there. Chris Golding summed up the circumstances beautifully. Have a look this. He knew I was coming, just perhaps a little lucky. Bounced straight back up to him. And then in transition, Aquera doing the right thing, running the floor. And goes to the bucket for an M1.
$50,000 could be yours this season with thanks to Latrobe Financial. Legends competition. You get into now with the details on your screen. 50K would be nice, Copes.
100%. Would be lovely.
Scores locked away at 33. Neither team's really been able to break away. Cairns' biggest lead in this game has been 6. Deng with the left hand, nice touch. Makes a run of 5 straight points. Tucker steps out. It's off the front of the iron. Deng with no numbers in front.
Just feeling it, thinking, well, why not? Have a crack in the transition. He does such a good job. He saw the play before, he put him into the deck. That time in transition, not crowded with numbers. Just a little surprised why he didn't just try and continue to get to the rim.
Shot clock back inside single figures. Rattan Mays. Humphreys out of control, lost the ball. Cairns happy to walk this one up the floor.
Really good weak side help. They built a wall behind the ball. Really caught Humphreys on that roll. And Pinder steps into a 3.
16% for the season. defies that logic.
I think he's better than 16%, but still, he's one, like I said early on, he'd be one. I'd be just trying to give some separation and space, but that one was just a wide open, no one around. He rises up and knocks it down.
Taipans lost the ball.
Top pass.
Shot clock a problem again for Melbourne. Hogue.
They had a layup.
It's not going to count.
How is it? We had the ball. This is your warning. This is your warning. Any more, we're having a technical.
It's an expensive play because it would have... I wonder why he was shooting it. Clearly, it must have heard a whistle or something.
Players there.
So it's the action before that. Shot clock had already gone off. And there's Adam Ford going off.
Clear possession. The Melbourne guy was there.
Now, he's claiming that because they'd already secured possession, then it should be play on. You play through the,
go one way.
play through the,
Because
the whistle.
this is where the siren went off and the ball was here. Sorry? We got to play through it. We got to play through the adversity because it's happening right now. Here we go.
Now, that is clearly a message that Adam Ford's trying to send to the officials, that perhaps he feels like he's a little hard done by.
That's one way of putting it. Shot clock switched off. 1-5, Hogue got his man in the air. Bottom of the net.
Terrible mistake. That's a costly mistake.
Barlow lost the handle. Illy has to dive on the ball. A bit of momentum for the Cairns Taipans to take into the main break now. It's been scrappy at times, but it's their biggest lead of the game right now, 41-33. DJ Hogue, splash, late in the quarter, gets it done and helps them to a nice advantage. You're watching the Hungry Jacks, NBL. Yes! Hogue, layup. DJ Hogue, beautiful spin.
There's a superstar.
Cairns is great, no complaints. Apartment setup is nice. Weather's been great. How I got to Cairns, Togs recruited me actually. Played with him in the G League. We won a championship there. And so we just communicated over the summer, kept in touch, and made it happen.
Hogue with his feet set.
And they're dancing.
Played at Texas A&M University for 3 years. After that, I was in the G League for 3 years. And then last year I played in France. And then now I'm here in Australia.
On the move, lays it up. 7-0 run to start the game for the Taipans.
The way we look to play, it seems to be very fast, almost on pace with the G League. I'd say pace and space is similar to the G League so far.
That is a real pretty stroke.
DJ Hogue coming across from the weak side.
However, there's the no defense at 3 seconds here, so we'll see as when you drive to the paint if there's a guy just there waiting for you, but I'm excited to play over here.
And DJ Hogue has all 7 of them.
Tough time here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The Cairns Taipans, a couple of late buckets on the back of DJ Hogue has helped them to a lead at the main break. Leonard Copeland and Andrew Gaze. They found a way. Cairns, late in that first half, they managed to start to crack the code.
Well, they did, and any time you can hold a team, any team in this competition to 33 points and a half, you've done a great job on the defensive end. But I think a few self-inflicted wounds there for Melbourne United and for the Cairns Taipans with the injury issues that they had to deal with. They've got some good performances. Ben Eyre with a season high, he's picked up his 8-point. Hogue started to get it going towards the end, and seemingly in this one here, who anyone can get it going from on the offensive end is going to have an advantage, and that was the situation in that the end of that first half for the Cairns Taipans. And Isaac Humphries, he's one that looked like a really good target down the other end of the floor, Coach.
Absolutely, and I said this, look, you can get the ball to him, and they got it to him 2 times in a row, and then they went away from him. Why? Because it's working. Throw that ball in, let him do his thing, because it's obvious he has size advantage, and he's a willing passer, but he's hot. Get him the ball. Throw it inside. He got 10 points.
Well, he does, and he's done it at 5 of 7, and those 2 that he missed were probably 2 of the easy ones, opportunities he had. We look at his numbers for the 4 boards and the 1 assist, the 10 points, got the 2 fouls, I think it is. So it's, you know, like you said, Copes, if you're the Cairns Taipans, perhaps you want to test him because he's one of those players throughout the course of his career. He has been a little foul prone, so sometimes to deal with the challenge that he has, that you're faced with him on the offensive end, is go at him at the other end and try and get him in some foul trouble.
DJ Hogue, we learned a little bit more about him at halftime and the journey that he's had to get here to the Hungry Jacks NBL. One thing we've learned pretty quickly, Coach, is this man can shoot the ball.
Absolutely. Look, get him off a couple of screens, let him knock down the shot. He went 0 for 5 in that first quarter, but when he seen that ball go in the net, he wanted the next one and the next one, and he knocked down 3 easy baskets. And they're going to need that all for the rest of the game.
Do they play through him in the second half?
Absolutely. I'm going at him. He's big. He's 6'9". He takes his time. He's never rushed. He can shoot the ball.
There's his shot chart. 3 of 8 from the field and 3 of 6 from downtown. He's the leading scorer in the game for the Cairns Taipans. He has 9. Isaac Humphries, the leading scorer in the game, full stop. For Melbourne United, he has 10 points. It's half-time at the Cairns Convention Centre. The third quarter, not too far away. It's the Taipans who lead 41-33. And take a look at this. Here are some of our nominations for the Latrobe Financial half-court shot. Don't worry about how many takes they all were. That's not important. Here are some of the nominations so far. Bottom of the net, keep them coming. NBL.com.au/legends. Here's a couple more to take us to the break.
You're watching Friday Night Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The Taipans at home tonight to Melbourne United. They lead 41-33. Cairns still yet to win at the Convention Centre this season. Melbourne, on the other hand, have won both of their away games so far this season. You can see there's Mirko Jeric in the moon boot. We won't see him until the back end of the month. But who we will see is Jenna O'Hea. She's courtside.
Yeah, I don't think that halftime buzzer could have come soon enough. There are some tired bodies in the Snake Pit tonight. I think they would have got some drinks into them at halftime, some recovery, so that they've got 20 more minutes. Cairns are going into a 15-day break after this game with the FIBA window, so I think 40 would have been really highlighting that so that these guys can give it all for the 20 minutes. As for Melbourne, I think there'll be plenty of rotations like Dean Vickerman generally does to keep those tired bodies well rested so that they can get back this margin.
What is it with these tired bodies? I mean, we heard Chris Golding in the halftime, oh, I don't want to be playing 35 minutes a game. I mean, please, 35 minutes. It's like
a vacation, man.
I know that the intensity might be different, the athleticism might be different.
Don't say no, it's not different.
Well, it's... I'd be begging for 35. I'd be wanting to play 35, but it's...
And you did. And you played 35.
I tell you, the other thing that Melbourne United would be really concerned is their turnover count. 9 turnovers in the first half is way too many. Only 3 for the Taipans, so that's an area where Melbourne United could look to try and improve. And some of the turnovers, some of the passes they were trying to make were just really sloppy.
In traffic passes. They're not going to fly. Jenna spoke about tired bodies. Melbourne United have to get on a plane, come back here.
A throwdown.
Play the throwdown on Sunday.
Yes, sir. We'll be there. Shea Healy hasn't found the going as easy as what he had, or did on Monday, I should say. 0 from 5 tonight from the field. It was 3 of 4 against the Wildcats only a few days ago. Hogue kicks it to the corner. Pinder with an offensive rebound. Been saying that a lot this season. Hogue with room. He misses.
I don't know.
Deng, uncontested, puts it back in.
I don't know how Hogue got that wide open. But you better be... You can believe me when I say this. Dean Vickerman wouldn't be happy about that one.
Well, Quero was contesting the boards and getting after it, and the kick out brought him undone. But then you can see what happens when Aquera's not around there. It was an easy defensive rebound situation.
And Paul Qualls stuffs it.
Sneaky hops, huh?
I think he only just sort of snuck that in too. You can tell by the smile on his face that maybe he asked the questions of the legs and they just didn't quite give him the response that he was looking for, but was still good enough to knock it down.
It's a double-figure lead for the first time in the game. An alarming start to this third quarter for the visitors. Qual threw it inside. That was ambitious, but Deng there to help clean it up. Still 7 on the shot clock. And Pinder was held, played through the contact. There's Deng to tip it in once more. 6 points to start the third quarter. Dean Vickerman is about to lose it.
Well, they're getting annihilated on the boards to start this one. Here's another opportunity. There's the transition one that just snuck in. And still timed it perfectly. And looked a little bit easier in the replay than it did in real time.
There's the Amy replay. 47-33. This is the biggest lead in the game. Xavier Rattan-Mays is a man that they could do a little bit more out of right now. Has 6 points on 2 of 6 from the field. Has 6 rebounds, but just hasn't played with the same sort of aggression that we've seen this season.
Well, again, I think because he doesn't have that ball in his hands as much, now that Shea Healy's playing point, he's coming off screens now looking for plays coming to him. But when he was playing the point guard, he had the ball in his hand. He can control how many shots he got and when he took that shot.
Well, statistically, if you look back at their wins, then maybe they need to get that ball back in his hands a little bit more, because when he scores, he's only had the 6 field goal attempts. And let's say the same thing about Chris Golding. He's 3 of 6 But remember, what was it, 6 minutes in the first quarter, he'd already had 5. And since then, he hasn't really seen too much of it.
And there's Rajon Tucker, who's seen barely any of it. 1 of 4, has 2 points.
We're good, buddy. We're good, buddy. Good.
This is a significant problem for Melbourne United, not only in this game, but this is a test against the team who are up there so far this season. Jenna O'Hay courtside.
Yeah, pretty animated timeout from Dean Vickerman there. He challenged them at halftime to be tougher, and he said he's seen no change. The commitment to win is not there. And then the very last message was to rebound.
Well, that they definitely need to do. Thank you, Jenna.
And the
WNBL champion.
That's right. And when you talk about those effort things, he'd be seeing the work that they're doing on the glass. Already had a couple of offensive rebounds that have resulted in easy putbacks, and that's what I think he'd be referring to.
Hoag's pass stolen. Shea Ili takes it, Shannon Scott follows him.
What a block.
Well, there's the effort that you're talking about.
Stalked him all the way to the basket and then went slap.
We had to stay with it. Perfectly timed.
Jeez.
Well, they've had some work to do, those people in that part of the front seats.
14-point lead for the Taipans. They led by 8 at the half. Golding an easy bucket. Adam Ford thought there was a travel. Melbourne's first points of this third quarter.
They're going to need a lot more than that if they're going to compete with Cairns.
Pinder, nice aggression.
Well, that looked like a big man that was really conscious of not fouling.
That's right, yeah. He's worried about getting that third foul and sitting down. But again, if I'm Cairns, I'm going at him, making him play defense, just to see what he can and can't do.
3 of 15 from deep, Melbourne. As Pinder takes it at Humphries. Another 2.
We're just retreating. You saw he was just above the no-charge circle, and then he just retreated with him. He tried to keep his hands. At some point, you just got to hold your ground and try and keep him from getting that close to the basket.
10 points to 2 to start this third term, and Humphries loses the ball. He'll come to the bench, and that's 11 turnovers for Melbourne. This third quarter has been a nightmare for them.
Why not?
That's a problem. This is a problem, Drew.
Well, they're doing exactly what you asked for, Coach, and whether it's Humphries or Barlow, just seeing an advantage and going at it.
Tucker kicks it out for Newley.
In contrast, you see the drive there. They drive into the paint. There are 3 bodies.
Qual for 3. It's short, Shannon Scott. Chases after that long rebound. Shot clock at 5. Qual inside. Draws a foul. This is a Cairns team out there tonight without Tajir McCall, Sam Wardenberg, Mirko Jarrett, and Jonah Antonio.
I wasn't expecting this, and I wasn't expecting United to be so devoid of any offense whatsoever. They just can't score. 35 points, and here is a wonderful, wonderful vehicle right here. Fully electric number.
Yes, sir.
Jackie boy, how do we go about jumping into one of those?
Even you could do this. NBL.com.au/WinMG with that dodgy old computer of yours.
Right, no.
I don't know, Jackie boy. You might need a little help.
There was a little pre-game malfunction that we had to help our man through, didn't we?
Try a little tantrum just to make sure that this
just hit the button and turn the computer on.
Toys out of cost. Have to get you into one of those MGs, I think, Drew.
I love the electric number.
Golding, nice pass behind the back. Really cannot get the ball in the bottom of the net. Hogue inside for Pinder.
They're really good. Good drive by Hogue. And
59.
this is real tentative stuff by Melbourne United. Highly reactive. Not proactive on the defensive end at all. In there and forced a foul. Send Pinder to the free throw line where it can be a bit of an adventure.
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
The lead is 20.
And how fast that lead. Wow.
They've scored 2 points in this third quarter, Melbourne.
Yes, and you look at the way they're playing and really terminal, not getting it through a lot of hands, and as such, some of the plays in isolation, you go, well, that's not a bad play in isolation, but in the context of the game, I'm sure they're getting it to the right people at the right time.
There's a start.
And there's someone you need to get it to a little more regularly.
Not a little more, every time. On this, with this lineup, get him the ball every time. Just see what he can do.
Double figures for Chris Golding. He and Humphries have ticked that box for Melbourne tonight. Cairns have got 3 in double figures themselves. 12 bombs away.
What's the pass out of the low post? They come down and they sort of tentatively, are they going to double, are they not? They're in help positions, but no ball pressure, easy pass out.
Tan Mays, 2 of 8 from the field tonight. Nice knockdown from Dave Barlow. The challenge, though, has been back-to-back buckets. Their other challenge is stopping that.
Yeah. How many times have we seen this in this quarter? Maybe try something different.
Thanks, guys. One shot.
Clearly, he can't guard him.
Well, you know what? I think you're right, Coach. And given...
Let's go.
Yeah, you tell him.
One shot, guys.
Given what we're seeing is that even trying to get someone smaller on him. Now, I know you might be exposed on the box.
Tucker, maybe.
But the driving right now is the thing that's really hurt them.
Maybe put a Tucker on him who's more athletic and stronger. Because when you're knocking that thing down like that, Drewy, it's going to be a long night, son.
Well, it is, and after a tough start from the three-point line, they're now 8 of 21. They're 38%, and confidence is sky high.
Little fella blocking the shot.
Yeah, sprints up the floor. Bull Qual. That's long. Falls back into the waiting arms of Pinder. He can't finish off. Wanted a foul.
He went straight.
Where's the block? See, the help's there.
And got it with 2 hands and his foot.
Put his whole body into that one.
His whole body into that one.
And there's the miss. And so you might want to play fast, but when you're down these types of figures, that quick little flick pass off the rebound, just need to perhaps be a little more conservative. Make sure you don't commit those turnovers, which have been a real problem. They're up to 11.
23-8 since halftime. Jenna O'Hay, courtside. What is going on?
Yeah, Adam Ford always speaks about the floodgates will open. He hasn't changed the way he coaches this team. He encourages his guys to put up those open shots, and they are, and those floodgates are definitely open tonight at the Snake Pit.
Well, not that time for Chris Golding. They're the sort of team that will keep pressing, Jenna. Thank you.
I don't know if the floodgate was open, but the door must have been open on that last shot. Jeez.
This is Cairns' biggest lead at any stage this season against any team. Shannon Scott wants to get in on the act. 9 made threes in the game. A 26-point lead. Melbourne call a timeout. They are being destroyed.
They are, and everything, the extra pass, the penetration has been a huge, huge problem for Cairns, for the Melbourne United, the way in which they've defended it. They're getting beaten both ways. They're getting beaten by the drive and finishing at the rim, and they're getting beaten on the kick out.
You got to take away something. You can't let them have both ways. You're absolutely right.
There's Dean Vickerman. We're going to head into this timeout, talking to his assistant coaches, Reece Carter and Justin Schuler, searching for answers.
On free throws, just as a change-up right now, all right, we're going to our 1-1. Back to green, all right, on free throws when we get a chance. Know what we're hustling. I'm sorry, what we're matching back up on, all right? Offensively, let's go to a ghost right now, all right? As you come off it, bang, we got you under. We're throwing back right here. We got you on the block right now, all right? And we're hard, CG in this spot. We're bringing him hard over right now. Come on, play a hold.
What do you do in this situation if you're a coach? What can you do?
As a coach, there's not a lot you can do. These players have to take this thing personally. I mean, you got to get together and say, look, if we are going to lose, we're going to lose the way we want to lose, and not the way they're playing us.
Well, they've got problems at both ends of the floor, which is never a fun time and great experience.
Go back to Humphreys. That definitely worked for them in the first half.
Absolutely. Just don't know if they got enough time to play that slow ball and get back in this game.
There's a difference between playing slow and getting the ball through hands and playing quick in a half-court setting and trying to move that defense. It's been really stagnant for Melbourne United.
Yeah, with a hand in the face. Tucker straight into Shannon Scott.
Tucker into him. There's a bit going on with Tucker in his head right now. He's 1 of 4 from the field. He's only got the 2 points. Played 16.5 minutes. And not just for him, but I reckon these players would know enough of what's going on around the world as well. And they see someone like Jalen Adams get released, and you start to think, well, you'd expect there to be a few telephone calls going the way of Jalen Adams, and perhaps when Melbourne United and Dean Vickerman have been very open about them looking at trying to make some changes to their roster.
Would Jalen Adams fit this Melbourne team?
Jalen Adams will fit on any team he wants.
You're on the 20s Melbourne Tigers. Could he play for them?
He would.
Not sure the budget's there for that one.
Well, and I'm not sure the budget would be there for any of the NBL teams. But, you know, sometimes you're in the right place at the right time.
You still got to ask that question, though. But speaking on Tucker, it's tough being an import in any league. Let me tell you now, because you expected to come in and be a superstar. I don't care what you say. And when things aren't going well, you're the first person to go. So
well, that's true. There's a scrambling on the ball. It's going to be a jump ball.
Not in this league.
Hey, we're going to give him a chance to fight for the ball.
I think Damon Lowe in his commentary last night made a really good point. If you're going to have those expectations with some of these guys, which are rightly so, because usually they're the players getting the big bucks and they're given great roles, that you put them in situations where individually they can excel. And this is not a criticism of what Melbourne United have done over many, many years, and the way in which they spread it around and get it through some hands. But I'm not sure that Tucker's really found where he's going to get his stuff from. And that sometimes can be just a product of time and adjusting. And sometimes it can be a system thing as well.
But in all fairness, it's a much different team with Wadi not getting injured. And it's a much different, probably a much different outcome early in the season if he's playing.
So go back to the point about time. Drewy. Barring a miracle, they'll be 4 and 5 at the end of tonight.
They've still got time.
With a red-hot southeast Melbourne Phoenix on Sunday. Here is Tucker. How much more time do they have left?
Well, the fact that you've got a top 6 right now in a playing game, that gives you a little bit more breathing space. But, you know, it's about whoever comes in. If it's someone new, and there usually is a transition to get acclimatised to the competition. But like we said, we're not speaking out of turn here. This is something that Dean Vickerman has openly spoken about in press conferences. The team and the organisation, I'm sure they've been communicating with their players, given how open they've been about they feel they need to make some changes to their roster.
Jordan Caroline not playing tonight with the hamstring. Should miss at least another week. Mason Peatley, we haven't seen at all this year because of a knee injury.
You put me, again, we're not speaking out of turn, but if you put me in Dean's seat, I'm going to the United States or Europe or wherever, and I'm looking for an absolute superstar, someone who can put the ball in the hole. Whether he's a stretch 4, a point guard, I don't care what it is, I just need somebody who can bring some fire out of these guys.
Scott fouled in transition by Ely.
What, 35? Hit 2 shots.
It is, and Adam Ford would be rapt in the way what he's getting out of some of these players that we haven't really seen a whole lot of. And Ben Eyre is one that we've just saw who's come in and really played an important role. Hasn't had 8 points all in the first half, but certainly it doesn't look overawed. I haven't seen a lot of Josh Davies period in the NBL, but he's had some problems down low defensively, but the fact that 40 has shown a lot of confidence in him, and
one shot.
It's encouraging signs for the Cairns Taipans and the system they're building and plugging players into the system, and a system that's seems really geared to the talent they have.
And Gazy, is Adam Ford happy to put the DPs in and happy to give them the opportunity?
He hasn't had a choice tonight.
But he's done it across the season.
Yeah. Give him a little bit of time, and they've rewarded it. That's going to be a double dribble. Lockie Parker, he is capable of scoring.
Absolutely, that's 15 turnovers for them, which is too many already.
Timeout, 69-43. That's been an absolute demolition job by by Cairns on Melbourne United in this third quarter. Tomorrow, a couple of very, very interesting games. Tasmania, fresh off a strong win last night against the Wildcats. They'll be back on their home floor tomorrow night against the Brisbane Bullets, who are at a very interesting period in their season as well here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. And as soon as that one finishes up, Adelaide, who we saw on Thursday night, Coach, without Craig Randall, they play through Daniel Johnson, they play through Robert Franks, and they get results.
Who are both capable of scoring the ball. And look, those are 2 danger games. Brisbane are a bit on shaky ground. They're just starting to feel themselves and getting to where they need to be to. So, and then Tasmania playing fantastic basketball.
And then we talk about Melbourne United and their issues. Well, Perth have lost 5 in a row for the first time since 2010, and
well, that in
I
itself,
would suggest if they drop number 6, there might be a stampede at RAC Arena with the fans.
well, welcome to the real world. You've had 35 years or whatever it is of absolute glory, and that in itself, the fact that it's been that long since they've lost 5 in a row, is testament to the greatness that they've been able to provide to this competition.
What do you do, Daisy?
Well, you continue to work through it in your game. Maybe you look at your personnel, but oh my, everything going.
And what you thought?
What a quarter for the Cairns Taipans. 30 points to 10. It started off with a flyer, and it finishes off with a nice little touch from Ben Eyre. Another young man making the most of his opportunities tonight. The Cairns Taipans have walloped Melbourne in this third quarter. They lead 71-43. Three-quarter time at the Cairns Convention Centre. The Taipans leading 71-43 over Melbourne United. Some news for United fans, and it ain't good. Nope. This 43 that they have on the board at three-quarter time is their lowest three-quarter time score in franchise history in 268 games.
That is not good. Some kind of way they got to find a way to put the ball in the hole, but if they can't, just say they can't put the ball in the hole. They got to be able to play defense on the other end, Joey. You can't.
It's been un-Melbourne-like with what we've seen on the defensive end, that's for sure.
It's been that way for them all season, though, unfortunately. Why is that the case?
I think it's a combination of the personnel they've got and clearly the effort, the intensity, the energy sometimes hasn't been there. And, you know, you can lose confidence on the defensive end just as much as you can on the offense.
But Dean Bickerman's teams rarely you lose confidence on the defensive end. He's strong about his defense. And
well, I personally think some of their problems on the defensive end has come from their offense as well.
This finish by Humphries. What do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes when the shot selection you're taking, you're putting yourself into real tough defensive transition situations. The turnovers, particularly in tonight's outing, when you're a little disjointed on the offensive end, it can, unfortunately, spill over. And Ben Air is just looking like John Stockton out there, knocking threes down, penetrating, getting into the paint.
This tip in from Humphries.
Good. Orange on. Shove. One shot. Down it. Thanks, mate.
Well, it's not completely foreign for Ben Air. Round 20 last year against Melbourne.
Let's go.
He had 20 points, 4 made threes, 10 assists, and that was really the game that locked away a future 2-year deal for him with the Taipans.
He's a player. He's always been a player. Just tenacious. That I wouldn't say cocky, but he's confident. Overly confident in his game, and it shows.
You know, I think there are a lot of Ben Airs out there that just need to be in the right place at the right time to get an opportunity. You know, you look around the country, whether it's guys on rosters right now that perhaps don't get to play as much, or players in the NBL1 competition. There's a lot of talent out there that just, unfortunately, with only 10 teams, you don't always get an opportunity.
And that's probably why NBL1 was so good this year.
Yeah, across the country, yeah. And the championship showed that, didn't they, when all the teams came together?
This is just not good enough, though. I mean, the fact that they're getting wide open threes.
It's a 29-point lead. Ratan Mays slides back door. 8 points on 3 of 9 for him. It's caught a foot, and Tucker didn't give up on it. Kicks it out for Ratan Mays.
And it's going to be interesting to see how Dean Bickerman plays. He's still got a lot of his main guys out there. They've got that big game on Sunday and travel. This one's in the book. And how much you want to use this just to try and generate some confidence, get your systems back in place, and how much you want to just burn this game and just rest them and get them into recovery mode a little bit earlier.
It's a fine line because you want guys to get things right.
Correct.
Oh, dear. That's a bad turnover. And Ben Air, he's just playing with him. Hogue lays it up. 29-point lead, Genero. Hey, you were taking a listen to Adam Ford at three-quarter time.
I was. He looked at all his guys and he said, we have not achieved anything. We need to finish this game off for our fans, and that starts at the defensive end. I don't think he'd be particularly happy with how they've started defensively compared to how they were in that third quarter, but those shots sure are dropping, aren't they?
He's setting high standards.
You know, Hogue, he reminds me, remember, you know, Kyle Anderson in the NBA? That's who he looks like, and this is just getting out of control. If it isn't already, for the Cairns Taipans, everything going, coming off the... And that is a really poor effort at flopping. Like Tucker.
No, he got hit. Yeah, he didn't get hit.
There was definitely a little bit of contact there, but I think just the officials have agreed with me.
Flop warning for Rajon Tucker. He'll sit down with 2 points.
And here's the thing, he really didn't need to go underneath. There was that much of a gap between where the screener was and where the ball carrier was. Oh. But just the smoothness of this guy. Have you ever seen Kyle Anderson? You play, and then you know he can shoot it and gets around. It never looks like he's in any great hurry. He's got a little bit of that about him, maybe.
I got a question for you now. McCall's back next week. Do you put him back in the starting lineup?
I think well, I don't know about the starting lineup, but you try to figure out a way to reincorporate. I think ultimately they're going to need him. This is an aberration. These types of games are going to happen every now and again. When you've got such parity in the league, a team is a little bit off, and you are on, you're going to get these blocks. We've seen it already.
They're playing much better basketball now than they were at the beginning of the season.
True, but I think ultimately, if you're going to get into that situation where you're competing for a championship or a semi-final, they're going to need a little bit more talent. And he, although he may not have had a great start to the season, if you looked at his best and what he provided last season, and provided he doesn't disrupt the way in which they share the ball, and then I think you incorporate him back in as soon as you possibly can.
Hogue got it.
Yes, sir. This is
there aren't too many teams this season that haven't had to deal with this. Everyone's time to time. Adelaide took their whack. I saw even the Jack Jumpers took their hit.
Cairns have been whacked in round 2. They lost by 29.
Perth have been smacked.
a lot of smacking and whacking going around here, Daisy.
Well, that's what can happen if you are not on your game. This league is really difficult and a lot of talent. And this, you know what? No better feeling than winning a game and knowing you got 15 days until your next game's coming up.
Well, here's my question. How does Melbourne United rebound from this and get ready for Southeast Melbourne on Sunday? What do you do? What do you
I think there's so much, and you got to think, well, do we just throw this game out, or we got to look? I think you got to break it down.
Players meeting?
I don't know if we're quite at that stage at the players only meeting, but I think it's got to start at the defensive end. Just the energy, effort, defensive end, and what you do on the glass. It's very hard to fix the offensive problems quickly, but you can really make good with the defense and the offense, the defensive end, and how in which you can provide those effort and energy. Hey, let's not forget, last week they had two great wins.
85-50 at the Cairns Convention Centre. Timeout, Cairns.
Coming at me like that. It's like 3 or 4 times now. Talk to me properly. You know you can talk to me. You got a timeout though.
35-point lead to the Taipans. For Melbourne, this will be 4 of their 5 wins this season that have been 4 or 5 losses, I should say, that will be double-figure losses.
And that comes from, a lot of that comes from 18 turnovers to 5. That's just not good enough. I mean, yeah, they're frustrated. But again, if anybody can fix it, Dean Bickerman, who's been there and knows what he's doing, he can fix it.
Yeah, there is some real soul searching that has to go on, and right now there's no effort, there's no intention. It's not acceptable, but it's understandable when you're getting completely obliterated and you're just thinking about what lies ahead on Sunday.
$85-50 at the Cairns Convention Centre. Keanu Pinder now with his 4th double-double of the season and his 11th in his career. He'll have a few more of those before the season's out.
Absolutely. Just very athletic, smart player who looks like he's having fun, man. He's enjoying himself.
Did you ever have hair like that?
I wish. I wish.
Coach ran with a flat top, though. Oh, that was flat.
Hey, bro.
Whoa, it was sharp.
They put a level on that thing, and the bubble didn't move.
Man, attention to detail.
Yep.
Superb. Little moustache.
Yeah. All right, bro. Now, Southeast Melbourne will be sitting at home now
licking their lips.
Well, no, I think they'd be saying, hey, this is not the Melbourne United we're going to see on Sunday.
Well, how do you change it so quickly, though? You're saying...
Well, it changed so...
It's going to be a different team on Sunday? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I'm saying that sometimes you can have these performances, and I think that they would realise that in a packed house, their fans, the intensity of a rivalry game, you're obviously going to expect that's going to generate some emotion, plus the shame in what they're feeling now and trying to right the wrongs. And if they can channel that in the right way, you know, look, like I keep repeating, but look what happened last weekend. They got away with 2 really good wins. And okay, that Illawarra one was one that wasn't one of the all-time great games, you know, even though it was double overtime and it wasn't great form, but they were able to back that up with a solid win against a really...
We've spoken a lot about Melbourne. Let's talk about Cairns. Copes, you were really keen on this team coming in tonight. Yep. You like them as a whole, don't you?
I did. I like the fact that they scrambled. They're not perfect, but they continue to play hard. Even this game, the first quarter, they missed shot after shot after shot, but they kept going, man. They don't quit. Yes, they make a lot of mistakes. Yes, they miss a lot of shots, but they keep coming at you.
It's out of bounds. They'd lost their last 2 coming into tonight, but for context, a game winner against Sydney
on the road,
and then lost by 4 against the New Zealand Breakers, who are a very good team, the Breakers.
Top 2 teams, Sydney and New Zealand, they go down by 1 point and 4 points. So that tells me they got the talent. Whatever Forty's doing with this group, it's working. Didn't we have a little bet, Joey, on this game?
Well, you would have won because I thought that we're going to see a little bit better from Melbourne United. And with some of the outs, I just thought it might be a difficult one for Melbourne United. Excuse me, for the Cairns Taipans. But they have looked very impressive.
It's a remarkable turn of events that we're 6 rounds into the season, and the 2 teams who seem to have the biggest problems right now are the Perth Wildcats and Melbourne United.
Well, that's a good point. It's been a long time since we've said that.
They have been, free throws here to come for Ball Qual. They've been the centrepiece of the league for the last 8 years.
18 years.
Well, for the Perth Wildcats, you take away, and even when you look at the Wildcats last season, their win-loss record, what were they? 16 and 12? It wasn't like they had an absolute stinker.
Slightly under 500, I think, from memory. Slightly. Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
But it's been a long time, that's for sure. And, you know, at 3 and 5, and even right now, we're saying, oh, it's doom and gloom on this one performance. It ain't that. You know, you can bounce back in this league pretty quickly. They're going to be 4 and 5 now. It's not like it's season's over.
39 points down.
That is
a setback.
That's hard to bounce back from.
That is a significant setback, but like you said, not very few teams have had to deal with that haven't experienced that this season at some stage.
Joey, you can lose, but it's how you're losing, man. You say what you want to say. Yes, they can bounce back, but there's no tenaciousness on defense.
No, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? It's a different Melbourne United team to me.
No, there's no doubt about that.
You never see that many wide open threes against a Melbourne United team because Dane Bickerman would be having a conniption, as you call it, on the sidelines.
You spent too much time with him. Nice hit from Maliwatch. They've got less than 48 hours to dust themselves off Melbourne and come back for Sunday. Just about a sellout at John Cain Arena for the throwdown. And complete polar opposites. You've got a Melbourne team who are going to limp into this game off the back of a flogging tonight versus a Southeast Melbourne team who are playing really good basketball, are averaging the best part at the moment of 86 points a game. They're number 2 in the competition for points scored, and they've got all of their players back. They won't have Joe Chi for Sunday, but they're in white-hot form right now.
Well, throughout the short history of the South East Melbourne, they have been a decent scoring team. It's been at the other end, and this year we've seen some changes. They've been a lot more reliable on the defensive end, and you know what they've done is done really good jobs in close situations.
And recruited well as well.
Great, really good, balanced roster.
Gabe Hadley in for his first minutes tonight. Great to see. Just had confirmation that there are 30 tickets left for Sunday. 3-0 only. Wow. So you better be quick. Or ring someone who knows someone. Or hit Gazy up on Twitter. He'll sort you out.
This is
a turnover. Cairns get the ball back.
Oh, goodness.
Ben Air falls over.
Well, the turnover count is just extraordinary. 20-7 is the turnover count. And as ugly as 20 turnovers is, 7 turnovers, I think, is also indicative of what's happening on the defensive end for Melbourne United. That's right. Full credit to the Cairns Taipans for taking care of it, but it also reflects that perhaps that Melbourne United haven't been able to put enough pressure on the defensive end.
Absolutely.
So for the Taipans, this is it. They can put the feet up and take a break. Their next game is the 19th of November. Of course, no games next weekend in the Hungry Jacks NBL. A FIBA window. Chance for the Aussie team to get some business done. We'll be back after that, locked and loaded for round 7. Still a fair bit to play out in this round, though. Tasmania and Brisbane tomorrow. Adelaide and Perth also in action. Check your local guides, of course. Davey, a long way from the basket. Just before the shot clock. Lat Mayen got it away, but it didn't touch the rim.
Well, 32 points. And again, we spoke about how do you recover from a loss like this. I just think as veteran players, you gotta, it didn't have to be a player-only meeting, but you gotta get together and talk about what you can do better, what needs to happen, because you can't just go into Sunday's game thinking it's going to turn around by itself, because it's not.
Lat Mayen is another one that you look at his history, college career, spent some time, I think it was in Nebraska, and good size, athleticism, another one you look at that we haven't seen a lot of, but looks like a decent prospect in the future.
Spent some time at the COE. He was there with Jack White, Will Magnate, Sam Froling and Angus Glover.
Big names. I'm impressed with Ben Air. He's done a fantastic job tonight. Getting guys involved, knocking down the open three.
16 points for him.
Good travel.
6 of 12 from the field.
Technical foul. 11.
Delay a game, I assume. The whistle blew and he continued to go in. You can look at the
No line-up, one shot.
The shot.
No line-up.
Not sure about.
No line-up, just hop outside.
We discussed this on the jump the other day. I think that ultimately what they're trying to do to
Back
speed
there.
up the game is right, but there's certain time. There's still got to have some level of
Here for me.
judgment with some of them. But
Don't cross.
maybe you've got to
You go.
overcompensate that eventually the players adjust. Maybe trying to put both sides of the argument forward. I know that that might invoke a little bit of criticism, but
no, it's being discussed a lot at the moment. Be one of those things that just, as you say, maybe just takes a bit of time to bed in. Melbourne have got it back to 24.
What would Dean Bickerman be thinking then?
Please, clock, hurry up, and please, let's end this torment and let's try and move on. And
first NBL points for Gabe Hadley. Well done, young man. Nice little knockdown for him to remember too.
The second 5 scored more points than the first 5. Melbourne United.
Late turnover, almost. Tajima, of course, still to come back. Taipans fans on their feet. They haven't seen their team win at the Cairns Convention Centre this season. All that is about to change. The Taipans want to be a contender this season, and they make a statement. And they remind the competition they are a contender. 97-72. They smash Melbourne United.
Well, we can speak all we like about the disappointment of Melbourne United, but I think it also understates what the Cairns Taipans have done. They've come in with an undermanned lineup, played some real aggressive basketball at both ends of the floor. After a shaky start, the shots weren't dropping, but once they did, the floodgates opened, and they ended up at 41%, almost 42% from the three-point line, 46% overall, and did a hell of a job, like we've seen throughout the course of the season, of protecting the rim and playing some really good defense.
Chance for them to rest up and recuperate, recover. We won't see the Taipans again until the 19th of November when they play against Brisbane, at Brisbane.
Ask the questions, man. Way to play.
But for Melbourne,
Way to make a statement that fellas show these motherfuckers. Doesn't matter who we got.
a performance that poses more questions than answers tonight.
Well, as you say, it gives them time to get healthy. They got 3 or 4 guys that are injured. They don't play for another 2 weeks. When they come back with a full roster.
Well, I reckon after a win like this, Cope, you're wishing that next game was in a few days, not in 2 weeks. You're going to enjoy the break. It's going to be a more peaceful break.
But you want to get back on the court.
But you want to keep this momentum going.
Yep.
Let's get down to Jenna O'Hay. She's got our Foot Locker player of the game, DJ Hogue.
Foot Locker player of the game, DJ Hogue, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. That looked like fun.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of fun, definitely. Good to get our first home win. Got the crowd here. They was real active in our win. Helped us a lot, so looking good rolling into the break.
Now, 7 made threes last game, 5 made threes tonight. Can you believe people are still leaving you open?
I wouldn't say they leaving me open, but they getting out there a little more. Hopefully they do leave me open, though. That's what I need, honestly.
Now, 30-10 third quarter. What on earth did 40 say to you guys at halftime?
I mean, he just said keep doing what we're doing. We had a nice little run going into half, and we were sharing the ball real well, and they just didn't know how to guard us. We was picking our poison, getting the layup with Keanu, or he was getting it out to us. We were hitting threes. It's tough to guard when you make shots.
Very tough to guard, and you guys are fun when you're playing like that. Now, can you talk to me a little bit about how much you're loving Australia?
Australia's great, Cairns is great, weather's great, beach is great, mountains, scenery, all that. I love it.
Awesome. Congratulations on tonight's win.
Thank you.
Great performance by DJ Hogue, 17 points, 6 of 13 from the field, 4 rebounds, as Jenna said, 3 assists as well. When he got hot, Copes, he kept going and he kept going, and he inflicted a whole lot of pain on Melbourne.
Well, he started off 0 for 5, and we were thinking, Cairns could be in trouble here if he didn't get going. He knocked that first one down, and I think he made 3 in a row before the half. And he's right. You know, once they start swinging that ball around, he got some good looks, and he knocked him down. And he's a quality player. You know, 6-5 from 10 from the three-point line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He's like you said, he's 6'9". He's a quality guy.
Great performance by DJ Hogue, and an incredible performance by the Cairns Taipans. They put 97 on the board, and they put the hurt on Melbourne United. We're back to wrap it up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Big win tonight for the Cairns Taipans, 97-72 over Melbourne United. Everyone got a lick of the ice cream, 6 players in double figures. They were down on soldiers from the get-go, but Adam Ford happy to give everyone an opportunity, and they made the most of it. That is an enormous win by the Taipans.
It certainly is, and they go into this break full of confidence and have got a lot to look forward to. But we've been saying about them this whole season of what they're capable of, and they're a vastly different team what we've seen in the past. And on the flip side, the difference between Melbourne's best and worst is as a bigger gap we've seen in a long, long time. So they need to try and do a little something to make sure that their worst is not as bad as what we saw here.
Let's jump ahead to tomorrow. We start with Tasmania taking on the Brisbane Bullets. 5:30 at MyState Bank Arena. Jack Jumpers put in a great performance last night against the Perth Wildcats. And then after that, the Adelaide 36ers up against the Wildcats. Big night for the Wildcats, Copes.
Big night for the Wildcats. When you lose 5 games in a row, then a lot of people are unhappy. You got to find a way to get a win, and I'm sure they'll do a lot of soul searching in the next couple of days.
And then on Sunday, the hits just keep coming. The New Zealand Breakers and the Sydney Kings. This is one of the matches. In fact, it probably is the match of the round. The Breakers playing really good basketball, as are the Kings. That game at Spark Arena. And as soon as that one finishes up, Melbourne have to dust themselves off, find a way to get back to their winning form, and they'll play the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in the throwdown. That is going to be a big, big Sunday, and then a reminder after that.
Ooh.
See, these two don't like each other.
Yeah.
A reminder after that, there's the fever break, so we'll take a week off, and we'll be back after that in the Hungry Jacks NBL. But that is going to see us out tonight. The Taipans win 97 to 72. That's as good as the first time we ever saw it. On behalf of Leonard Copeland, Andrew Gaze, Jenna O'Hay, and our hard-working team, thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.
Keeps dropping. I'm going to have to go and get a Phillips head driver. I need a Phillips head screwdriver.